Hi and welcome to another Monday live, and yeah, it's pretty chilly out there. We had a lovely walk this morning, but it's very crisp and even, as it were, without the snow, but definitely with the frost. We're doubling still, double annually of course, and then moving on to things eventually. We still got one more Monday on doubling. Next Monday I'm away. I'm actually in the Two Bridges down in Devon, and so I will be recording that. It'll be on the examples. I'm always asking you to give me examples and send them in. I've got some good ones, so I will those will make up sort of the Monday seminar, talking obviously about doubles and finishing off with double annually. And once we've got those of you who've been fasting or avoiding alcohol and things, when we come into February we're going to be looking at 4441 hands, which is enough to send you back. Of course, this time we'll be looking at 4441 hands beyond that opening bid. We did, if you can remember, a year ago in February we were doing the opening bid. We'll then be going beyond them, so it's quite an interesting topic. On the Fridays, we are still dealing with the last, the protective bidding. What do you do when the bidding goes one diamond, pass, etc.? Well, this Friday, we're still on the topic, but a number of people have been asking about something completely different, but it feels the same, which is when the bidding goes pass. So that's not protective bidding anymore, but we are going to do a little chat about that before we then look at protective bidding in all sorts of other auctions. Okay, so pass. Okay, so we'll look at that. So lots to think about. Holiday wise, as I say, I'm in Two Bridges at the end of the month, which is always fun, so I enjoy that. I'm in the Isle of Wight in February. I always look forward to that. That's half term actually. I'm hoping my family are going to be with me, which would be nice. We'll find somewhere to enjoy the week down there. And here are the other March events, because we've got plenty going on. So look on the site, all sorts of information there about all sorts of games. So do join us, I think is probably the example, is what I'm saying. Teams as usual. This time it's the prize teams on Wednesday. I don't know who the prize winner is this week, but hopefully I'll find out soon, because I'm going to need him to play. We're going to need a few extra players, so I might be garnering them. You know, I might need some requests from the Monday livers now, because unfortunately the last three prize winners haven't been able to make it the end of the prize. So I will come up with something. Hopefully Jean Smales will be able to join us, we'll see, but otherwise I will find some willing takers. Let's look at the hand evaluation, and we'll have a look. There you go. So this is what I linger. I've got a few people free for the prize winner, so I'll bear that in mind. Here is what I leave you with on Friday night, okay, and this is basically the suit combination that we look at each week. So this is the idea here, is that you end up in 3 no trumps, nice and simple auction, won't have any complications. 1 no trump, 3 no trumps, they lead, let's say, a spade, and you have to make a plan. And you're basically planning the club suit. Clearly there's nothing to be thought about in spades, hearts or diamonds here. It's all about clubs. And this one, very straightforward in a way, but it's important. These ones are so important because they're subtle but necessary to know. And we'll even attach a simple rule with it. So we will come back to that club suit after our little seminar, if that's all right. So have a little think about it now, and we will come back to it after the seminar. Okay. So what else is there? We've got our cruises going. We've got one out at the moment, and we've got spring and summer coming, and there's some lovely cruises, I have to say. We're going to Germany. There you've got one with Richard and Sue going to towards the Baltic, I think, which are lovely cruises. They used to go to St. Petersburg, of course, but they just explore the Baltic now, and I did one last year and really enjoyed it. And obviously we do our holidays abroad as well, Croatia, Tunisia and Mallorca. So be aware of all those, plenty of things for you to do, and you know, you can do as much or as little bridge as you want. We try to put plenty on for you, but you know, you don't actually have to come to any of it. We have a lovely group always, lots of singles coming, and we love to make those singles feel at home with the dance card and get them a few partners, and sometimes make friends for life, probably sometimes make enemies for life, but that we don't dwell on that. I'm always after charity bridge, so this one is a cafe bridge event in I've got to remember where it is now, in Hatch End. But please, if you've got any charity events that you want to promote, please give me details. And I'd love to promote them, both on the site and on some of these lives, because I think charity events are a really important part of the bridge industry, as it were. They're a great way of raising money and a great way of socialising and playing bridge. Okay, let's go over here. So we are talking more doubles. So I'm going to go through the same as we've done each time, but this time we're going to focus on passing takeout doubles. We're going to focus on passing takeout doubles. Okay, so the expression I often use is passing with a smile, and that's important. The expression passing with a smile means that you're confident that passing is the correct thing. If you can't pass a takeout double with a smile, then you shouldn't be passing. That's what we're looking at today. So let's have a look. So remember, what we've been talking about is that when you're responding to a double, okay, I do want you to make a jump with more than 9 points, okay, and that includes distribution. So quite a lot of hands, I want you to make a jump to say, partner, oh, this is nice. You've got an opening hand, I've got a decent hand, it's our hand. Let's decide how high to go. And important also is that if your partner has shown an opening hand and you've got an opening hand, you're expecting to go for game. So you either bid game or you bid the opponent's suit. Okay. Down south, I think northwest London is correct. Those of you asking where Hatch End is. Okay, points to note. With 0 points, you still have to respond. With 0 points, you still have to respond, and that's what we're focusing on today. Well, not with 0 points all the time, but you still have to respond. Your partner wants you to bid. When he does a takeout double, he wants you to bid. Distribution are important, of course. The middle player bids, changes things a little. 1 diamond double, 1 heart. Of course, you don't have to respond now, okay? We talked about the major suits last week. Tend to favour the major suits, but there were some subtleties there. You're looking for your best fit if you think you're going down and things like that. Obviously, there's been bidding, so you can assess high cards in the various suits. Your queens and jacks may or may not be valuable, okay? And what we're focusing on today is only pass when you can smile about it, when you are sure it is best, because your partner's asking you to bid. So, at the 1 level, it is very rare. Okay, usually you will need 6 cards in the opponent's suit or a holding which you feel would guarantee at least 3 tricks. Okay, so it's really rare. And remember, it is a positive choice. So let's look at an example here. 1 diamond from your opponent's double, pass, and it's your bid. 1 diamond double from your partner, sorry. So it's 1 diamond from north, double from your partner, east, pass. Okay, so you are responding to a takeout double. And, you know, I guess if you feel you can smile and pass, then you can pass. But I would not be smiling if I passed. I'd be doing it, oh, I'm not sure I should be doing this. If you ever feel you should not be passing, then don't do it. Your partner is asking you to take him out, okay? You don't like bidding one spade, but you do it here. I suppose if it was a one spade bid and it was double for takeout and you had 3 clubs and 3 hearts, you'd probably choose 2 clubs, but it would be at the same level. You don't want to be bidding 2 clubs here because it takes you a level higher. Remember, 1 no trump is a positive response. The problem with responding 1 no trump with a hand like this is that we'll often go double from the opponents. It wouldn't surprise me, given that you've got 2 points, wouldn't surprise me that that North is sitting there with 18 or 19 points. It then goes double of your no trump and you're now going to have to start running, aren't you? And they now know to penalise you. Whereas if you bid a spade, it's not going to be that easy for them to maybe penalise you if it's the right thing to do. And quite often North will just make another bid. So remember, to make no trump contracts, you need points. Okay, and clearly you don't have that. Clearly, your partner might turn up with 18 or 19, but then if you bid a no trump, he will bid 3, expecting you to have points. Okay, so you do not expect 1 diamond to go down, so hence you're making a bid, okay? So change it to this. It's game all. It goes 1 diamond, double for takeout, pass, and it's your bid. Okay, 1 diamond, double for takeout, pass, and it's your bid. We are playing pairs. Pairs bridge here. Okay, so what do you think here? So it's an interesting one. Okay, and for me, I quite like passing this. I'm passing with a smile. If we get this 1 off, that is the magic 200. Now, we might get it more than 1 off, but if we get this 1 off, we get the magic 200. Okay, what do I mean by magic 200? Well, this is looking like a part score hand, and of course 200 beats any part score. Even non-vulnerable, I think I'd be tempted to pass, but non-vulnerable, it's close between 1 no trump and pass, that kind of thing. But vulnerable, you'd feel you're hopeful. Now, what's important here, I see a lot of people double on sort of weakish hands on this first bid here. 1 diamond double, or I do it on 9 or 10 points. Well, if you do it on 9 or 10 points, your partner won't be able to judge properly. I'm expecting very close to an opening hand. Most of the time it should be an opening hand. So if my partner's got an opening hand and I've got what I think is 4 tricks, so I said 3 trump tricks, but I like to have 1 outside as well. So here I think 4 tricks. It's not unreasonable to hope that your partner has 3, if not more. Remember, if he's got more, you're getting 500 or even 800. So even if you think you're making game here, which clearly you don't, you've only got 7 points, but if you made game, you're probably going to get more than game. Okay, so here you would pass with a smile, as a number of you said, and the key is what you're saying is, I believe this is the right thing to do. I would say this is the weakest holding in diamonds. I would pass. The very weakest. In fact, what I put up on the previous weeks was Queen Jack 10 9 8. Okay, to exaggerate it. Okay, so here's your partner's hand. That should be about his minimum. I think he could have a point less. Okay, and then it will be touch and go. Here, clearly you've got 4 top tricks and 3 diamond tricks is the way you'd believe. You've got a chance. Of course, North, the opening bidder, might have the king, queen of spades. So you might take it 2 off. But most of the time you're going to expect to take 1 diamond, 1 off at least. Of course, they don't have to finish there. North could bid again, and then we might end up being no trumps. The thing is, someone's saying the opposition will bid again. They haven't really got a fit anywhere. So where are they going to end up? North is perhaps sitting with 5 diamonds and maybe a balanced hand with 15 points. I'm not sure North wants to bid again. If he's got a 5-3-3-2 hand, he's not going to be bidding again. So I would have thought that if you pass, North is probably going to pass. And if he tries something else, I mean, funnily enough, he won no trump contract here because North will be quite confident. Remember, whenever you pass a takeout double off, the opponents are rather hoping that you have made a mistake. So quite often, I'm sure we've all been here. Let's just see if we're running okay. I hope we are. Are we back yet? Just check. Yeah, we're back. Okay. So remember, it's someone suggesting that they'll take one diamond doubled out. Well, actually, what will often happen is, I mean, we've all been there. One diamond double makes +1 because the opponents have made a mistake. So you'll be surprised at how often you're left in one diamond double. Okay, because of course, you know, North is thinking, oh great, I've got ace king to 5 here. I'm going to make this. Okay, so, you know, South is maybe sitting with a 4 count. Maybe he's got a 5 card major, but he doesn't get another bid. Anyway, let's move on. So at the 1 level, it's very rare. However, at higher levels, judgment is called for. Judgment is called for. Okay. I think, to be fair, they had a 7 card fit in spades and hearts there. So at higher levels, you've got to use your judgment. Vulnerability is going to be really important. Okay, vulnerability is going to be really important. So we will see that. Not always though. Okay, so let's look at an example here. 3 clubs, double, pass, and it's your bid. Okay, 3 clubs, double, pass, and your bid. Don't think the vulnerability really matters here. Okay, so I won't even give it to you. But 3 clubs from your opponent's double, from your partner pass, and it's your bid. That's very, very, very different to responding to obviously a double of the 1 level. The major difference is very often we are the side that is going to be making things. When they've opened the bidding, it's very different because it could be anybody's game. The opening bidder could have 19 points, something like that. Here, you're the ones who are expecting to make positive scores. To make a 3-no trump contract, you require your partner to have 6 tricks. Okay, so you would have to be quite a big optimist for that to happen. It might happen, but if you make those, if you are really going to make all of those tricks in 3-no trumps, how many tricks are the opponents going to make in a 3-club contract? The first and foremost, the most important thing here is, do you really expect the opponents to make 3 clubs? And I'm hoping the answer is no. Okay, you don't expect your opponents to make 3 clubs. I think most of the time here, bear in mind your hand is probably only worth, with a 4-3-3-3 shape, I'll often take a full point off. So here I'm looking at sort of between 10 and 11 rather than 11. So I think you need your partner to be holding a rosy hand here, 15 or 16 points. Now, I suppose if you were vulnerable against not, you might get a better score making 3-no trumps. But that is if you make it. If you give your partner the average hand, bear in mind that he will be sitting underneath where most of the points are. Give North the King, Queen, Jack to 7 clubs. South will be probably hold high cards in the majors over your partner's hand. For me here, I've got 3 likely tricks, but my hand is certainly not great for a suit contract, so I'm not so keen on 3 diamonds. And I think 3-no trumps looks a long way away. Once again, if 3 clubs showed a bit stronger hand, maybe I'd feel, oh great, my partner's points are in the right place. But if you give your partner ace queen to 4 spades and ace queen to 4 hearts with a singleton club, seems reasonable. Where are your tricks coming from? You may find yourself in 3-no trumps -3. So I would feel, for me, that I would choose to pass here. I'm passing with a smile. I'd probably have a thoughtful smile, but I'm going to pass. So here I've given your partner a nice 13 count. I think that's a beautiful double, nice double partner. But can you see how far away 3-no trumps looks? Okay, look how far away it looks. Okay, on the King of Clubs lead, you duck it. So don't get me wrong, hopefully you can cut North out of the equation, but unfortunately beyond that you haven't got what we call a source of tricks. There's no source of tricks. So suddenly you would feel that 3 no trumps is a long way away. You've got 24 high card points, but look at it. It's quite nasty, isn't it? Okay, give North 4 hearts, sorry, South 4 hearts, which he's often going to have. He should have safe heart leads away. So I think you're going to struggle to make more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You might make 8. Often you'll only make 7. If North leads the King of Clubs, for example, and then switches to a spade, which would be his normal switch, then you may find yourself in real troubles. Okay, because South maybe has 4-4 in the majors, rather like East, and you will probably struggle and only make 1, 2, 3, maybe 7 tricks. Whereas in 3 clubs doubled, you know, you'd feel you've got a good chance of taking it a couple off. You might only take it 1 off, okay, and in which case 3 diamonds might score okay. But I would have thought more likely it's going to go 2 off. Bear in mind, if it only goes 1 off, it'll only go 1 off if the diamonds break 4-1, in which case 3 diamonds isn't going to be so pleasant, as it were. You would feel if diamonds are breaking evenly, then of course you're going to make your ace king of diamonds, maybe your ace king of hearts, the ace of clubs and another spade, so you're going to do very well. So with flat hands, opposite doubles of preempts, you do have the option of a pass. It's much closer if your ace king to 4 diamonds is ace king to 4 in a major. Okay, then it's tricky, isn't it? Because you'd feel you've got to fit. Bear in mind, your partner might have had a 14 count there with a doubleton club and 3 diamonds. He might not have 4 diamonds. So tricky, but I would fear with a 4-3-3-3 hand, very often I'm going to take the money, is the expression we use here. We pass the double and take the money. Okay, one last one then. Let's have a look at this one. 2 spades double, pass, and it's your bid. So we've had 3 different levels. We've had a 1 level bid, and we've shown that we've really got to have a decent hand there to pass that. Here we've had a 3 level bid. What about a 2 level bid? So it's gone 2 spades double, pass, and it's your bid. You're responding to your partner's double. So I think we're level here. I think we're level. What do you think? And these ones are really crucial, because remember, if you choose to pass this and they make it, they make a game contract. 2 spades doubled is a game contract. So here you really do have to be smiling broadly to pass this. And to me, I do not believe that I've got much chance of defeating 2 spades unless my partner's strong. Okay, remember, I've got 4 spades. Wouldn't surprise me if partner's got a singleton. Okay, so I'm thinking, hey, look, you know, they've got 6 spade tricks, and surely there's a fair chance they may come up. If you do play Lebensol, so let's say we choose to take out, then you've got to bid. I would bid the cheapest thing I can. If you play Lebensol, you do bid 2 no trumps here, but that's by the by, or Leb light. Okay, the point is if you bid, your hoping partner doesn't bid again. But I would bid 3 clubs. I expect 2 spades to make, so I do not want to pass. Now, to be fair, 3 clubs, as you were going to see, could go a long way off, but it's actually not going to always be easy for them to double you. Okay, very often, you know, yes, it turns out South's got king to 4 clubs and, you know, and a mixed 10 count, but that's no reason to double. So very often 3 clubs -2 or -3 is the best place you can get to. We've seen doubles work a lot. Sometimes doubles don't work, and these are clearly the kind of hands they don't work. But if 3 clubs by you gets doubled and goes for 800, it is not your fault. Now, I know we're not supposed to apportion blame. The only thing that is your fault is if you pass two spades doubled. Your partner's double says for you to bid your best suit, and you are bidding your best suit. As I say, if you play Lebenssoll, which we talked about on the site, or Lebenssoll Light, you can bid two no trumps here to say, partner, I've got a pile of rubbish, can you bid three clubs? And then you'd pass three clubs. The advantage of that is your partner's not tempted to bid again. Here's his hand, and we are in a bit of troubles. But as I say, I think that if they don't double you here, okay, if they don't double you here, then you might be okay. All right, three clubs is going to drift off, two or three off, and we'll see how we get on. Okay, I think the double of two spades is completely clear cut. He's got an opening hand and shortage again, though. This is why we need to have that opening hand. There will be times when South is sitting with king, queen, 10 to 4 clubs perhaps, and another high card, but he's not going to have any aces or kings. So even with king, queen, 10 to 4, it's not going to be necessarily that easy for him to double. You know, his partner, maybe he's got an honour in spades, the queen of spades, and his partner happens to have ace, king, jack, 10 to 6, but his partner might not have had the ace, in which case, you know, who knows, three clubs might have a chance or whatever, or maybe he'll think we'll escape to a better contract. Okay, as you can see, let's be honest, three clubs, three diamonds and three hearts are all pretty awful here. But we're just making sure we're doing the best. I hope you can see that two spades is definitely favoured. I think all we're going to make is the ace, king of hearts, the ace, king of diamonds, and the ace of clubs here against two spades. So two spades doubled making is worth either 470 or 670, depending on the vulnerability. If we do get doubled in a 3-level contract, yes, we are not going to have fun. Undoubtedly, it's going to be nasty. We might scrape together 6 or 7 tricks. But if we're undoubled, of course, we are safe. Notice, of course, 3 clubs doubled minus 3 is actually not as bad as two spades doubled and making vulnerables. So, you know, again, I've not given you the vulnerability because I didn't feel it was massively important on the particular hands I've shown you. But there will be times where if you think 3 no trumps has a chance, then the vulnerability is going to make a difference. Not on a hand like this, obviously. So on a hand like this, bidding 3 clubs confidently makes a lot of difference. So if you take a long time over this and dredge up a 3 club bid, South is allowed to know that. Your partner isn't, but South is allowed to think, okay, I have a feeling I've got them here. Okay, and obviously bear in mind that all South's doubles will be penalties because his partner's open to weak 2. Okay, also don't bear in mind if clubs break 3 and 3, they're going to really struggle to double. And also it may be that North has opened with 6 spades and 4 clubs to the king, and he certainly won't be doubling because he's only got a weak hand. So there's a lot of times I think you'll get away with 3 clubs undoubled, and that's certainly a lot better than leaving the doubling. Okay. So that is our topic, when to pass. I mean, it's a big topic, if you see what I mean. It's something that we'll be dealing with on the Friday on the site a lot, because when I talk about reopening later on as we go on through this theme of protecting, a lot of those protective doubles are going to be when partner is sitting and waiting and wants to pass with a smile. He knows jolly well that he wants to pass. He's got a lot of their suit. Okay. Obviously, the ideal scenario is when you're passing the takeout double because you have a very strong holding in the suit. We saw that at the 1-level double, but often at the 2-level and the 3-level, the reason we're passing with a smile is because we have very good trumps. The higher the level, the less good your trumps need to be. Okay, you still want to have good trumps, but they don't have to be so good. But at the 1 and 2 level, generally we like our trumps to be good to pass a takeout double. Because remember, you are disobeying your partner when you pass a takeout double. That's important to remember. Okay, let's go to our little hand here then. I'll quickly do the bidding. Let's do a nice and straightforward auction here, isn't it? 1 no trump, 3 no trumps, nothing to think about there. We'll let the opponents make a lead. And we've just got to simply, I mean, this hand is simply, let's make sure we make as many club tricks as we can. So we're looking to make 3 club tricks. Clearly, if the clubs make 3, if the clubs are 3-2, if the clubs are 3-2, then you always make the 4th round. Okay. If the clubs are 3-2, then you always make the 4th round. And the key is, if in doubt, when you have holdings like this, always lead the high card from the very weakest hand. Now, it looks like the 2 hands are equally weak here, okay, but they're not, okay. The 2 hands, the 9 of clubs is key. The 8 of clubs, funnily enough, wouldn't really make a difference, but the 9 of clubs is key. And the reason is, as a number of people are pointing out, is there's just the possibility. On a normal 4-1 break, if the singleton is a small club, there is no difference. But if the singleton is one of the 10 jack or queen, then actually we can finesse east for the other clubs. Clearly, if east has the singleton, there's nothing we can do because west will be sat with jack 10, 8 sitting over the 9. So the idea is generally your slightly stronger holding is the one you want to preserve. So we're preserving ace 9 here. It very rarely makes a difference, okay? But I'm not going to hold up on this occasion. I'm just focusing on the clubs, if that's okay here. We lead a club just in case there is an honour. Okay, we're hoping the suit breaks 3-2, but if there's an honour there, we then play small and we would insert the 9. Okay, all right, we would insert the 9 if we needed to. Here, we can win the ace, we cross back over, and we can then lead towards our 9 of clubs. Let's just open up the hand there. Okay, and the 9 ends up making. Okay, so let me just go back a little and show you that situation. So there's the full suit. If we play the ace of clubs first, even if the jack of clubs had been in the east hand, so switch the clubs around and put the queen 10, 9, 8 with west, can you see that our 9 is forlorn? It wouldn't have a chance. So if the suit breaks 4-1 with west holding 4, there is nothing that we can do. But here the beauty is that even if, when we lead a second club, if east does what I would call the correct thing of playing small, now if south plays the ace, he would lose 2 tricks. So what we do, remember, if the suit breaks 3-2, we always make 3 tricks. So we do not mind if the 9 loses to west's queen. So if west had started with queen jack doubleton. Okay, so if the queen wins that, our ace would then drop the last club. But instead, our 9 of clubs wins the trick. And we can then make the ace of clubs, obviously. And we only have 1 club loser. Okay, so looking out for, so again, I made the hand nice and simple. Ace, king, ace, king, ace, king. You just needed 3 club tricks. It's very subtle. It's, in many ways, it's very simple. Okay, and I saw some of you are thinking, well, what are we looking at this for? But at king empty against ace 9-4, quite a lot of people will look at that and think, well, it doesn't matter because they're both weak suits. Let's just hope the suit breaks 3-2. That 9 is important. Clearly, if I swap the 9 with the 5 and I had king 9 in the north hand, I would play the ace of clubs first, ready to lead up to the king 9. Here, I would have to lose 3 tricks. But we're just on the off chance that the singleton honour is with west. Okay, so they're very subtle, these combinations. And of course, they're only going to make a difference probably about 1 in 10 times you have them, but they're very common. Combinations. A lot of the combinations we come across will be common. If in doubt, keep the slightly stronger holding intact. Okay, so I mean, it turns out that ace 8-4 opposite king empty to 4 isn't important, but you know, if in doubt, play the king first anyway. You know, as I say, it won't make a difference with that particular holding, but if you don't know the holdings, always try and keep the slightly stronger one intact if you can. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed that. Let's look at the bidding quiz. Remember, we've got the beginners coming up. The beginners coming up. The bidding quizzes at the moment, we're focusing on partner preempting and having some interesting hands. Here's one: 3 spades, 4 hearts, overcall. Okay, you've got to decide what to do. Some quite interesting hands. Look at the vulnerability here. Game all, that could be important to you. At different vulnerabilities, you'd probably do different things with this hand. So that makes it interesting. There was what I love about bidding quizzes and things is there's some you don't know the answer to. There was one in the teams last week, which was great. It's lovely to have hands where, you know, you pick them up, the bidding goes a particular way, and you think, do you know, I've got no idea what to bid here. And I will probably find a panel, as it were, and give that query to them and see what they come up with. But see how you get on with that one. Remember, you can look up the answer on the site, whether you're a member or not. So thanks for your time. Hopefully see some of you through the week. Next week, don't forget, it's a pre-record. We're still doubling. So we've got examples sent in by you. And then, of course, as we go into February, we'll be changing the site. Those of you on the site, don't forget, we've got the lead quiz. We'll be starting next week's lead quiz. Will be the first, where we will have our nice little leaderboard, the lead quiz leaderboard, and you know, etc, etc. So we'll be moving on to that. And also, don't forget, you can all join if you want to. If you're not a member already, please come along and join us. Have some fun. Have a free week if you want it, or just come on. Remember, you can always cancel at any time. Not that you'd ever want to, of course. Okay, let's go to the beginners, please. There we go. So we have been looking at competitive bidding at overcalls. Okay, so let's carry on with that topic. So overcalls, what we said was, unfortunately, we have a new set of rules which makes our life very difficult. The opening bidders have one set of rules and the overcallers have another. And the reason is because we like to compete. We like to make an auction of it, as it were. So to compete, and quite often, like in a live auction when you're bidding money, you're sort of trying to push them up. You're sort of trying to make them pay more money, which sounds a bit sadistic in a way, but you do. You want to push them up and make them work a bit harder to win the auction. Okay, it is a competitive game. Okay, so your ambitions can be different, and that of course requires understanding the scoring. The idea that -50 actually going off is not the worst score. It's not an individual score. -50 sounds bad, you've lost the board, but of course if your opponents have most of the points, perhaps they should be making more. So what we discussed was that a 1 level overcall promises 5 or more cards and about 8 to 16 points. Okay, so you'll notice it's a similar range to an opening bid. An opening bid tends to be between 11 and 19 points. So it's a similar size range, okay, points range, but it starts a bit earlier and ends a bit earlier, okay? And what you're going to find at both 1 level and 2 level overcalls is that weak overcalls should have strong, or as we'll see, long suits. Okay, so that's important. Okay, so if you're going to overcall on just 8 points, you should have a strong suit. Okay, because otherwise you're sort of telling 2 fibs. You're sort of saying, you know, I haven't got many points and I haven't got a good suit. Okay, so what we said was on a hand like this, after a 1 diamond opening, we would choose not to overcall because it's too weak a suit. Whereas with a hand like this, we would feel that with an opening hand and a 5-card suit, it is reasonable to overcall 1 spade. So we've discussed our 1 level overcalls. What about the rules for a 2 level overcall? Rather like responding rules, there is a difference. We found that when we were doing the responders rules, that we could bid at the 1 level on fewer points, obviously, than at the 2 level. Okay, so when the bidding starts 1 diamond, okay, we're still at 1 level here. We're going to the 2 level in a second. I preempted myself. Here, remember, the 1 level is for 5 or more cards. So you are allowed to have 6 cards. We will see, as we learn more about competing, that there are things called jump over calls. Okay, and those will promise 6 cards, etc, etc. But here you've got a lovely hand, 10 points, really good suit, 6 of them, 1 spade is a good bid. Okay, so we know our overcalls, and now we're going over to the 2 level overcalls. Okay, but as I say, like opening bids, they've got a wide range. So the opponents open 1 spade. What do you think? You've got 8 points here. Okay, you've got 8 points. Have you got enough for an overcall? And my answer would be no. You've got to overcall at the 2 level. You require more strength. And in many ways, the logic is 1 level up, you need another 3 points kind of thing, 3 or 4 points, an ace or a king. Okay, I mean, it's a simplistic way of looking at it, but you're bidding for more, so you need a bit more strength. To be honest, a 2 level overcall is very, very, very near an opening bid. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so let's put it in perspective. A 2 level overcall requires either a 6 card suit and 10 or more points, or 5 cards in an opening hand. Notice that with 6 cards and 10 points, you are very, very close to an opening bid anyway, aren't you? Those of you, I'm sure most of you know that with 6 cards and 11 points, you can certainly open at the 1 level. That's why we call it 11 to 19. Okay, but with a strong 6 card suit and 10, you might choose to open as well. So really, we're looking for opening strength here. Okay, it should be a strong suit. And you'll notice here, the weaker the hand, you do need to have 6 cards. So with 10 or 11 points, you'd need 6 cards here. You know, with an opening hand strength, you can bid it with 5 cards, but we do prefer to have a 6 card suit. So here, 1 spade from your opponent. This time you've got 6 cards and 11 points. That's a nice 2 diamonds overcall. Okay, and your partner will put you with the equivalent of an opening hand, and this is what you've got. I think if you were first to bid, if there hadn't have been a bid in front of you, you may well choose 1 diamond here. With a 6 card suit and 11 points, 1 diamond will be reasonable. So 2 diamonds is showing a decent hand. Partner, I still want to come into this auction. Okay, we're allowed to bid, even though the opponents have started. Okay, I've given you a few extra points here. So 1 spade from south, do you or don't you bid? With 13 points, I think it is reasonable to make a 2 diamond bid. What we're trying to do is give ourselves a simple language. Now, I know it's not simple, but then we all know that no language is simple. As I'm sure a lot of you know, I've been trying Italian, okay, and I do not find Italian simple, okay, but some of the rules are, and so and what's important is having some basic rules to take you through. You will see over time that that some things that you learn as a beginner will be superseded is the word I'm going to, superseded by things that you learn as a better bridge player. The reason you do that is because the teacher or instructor wants to give you a simple structure to start with. As we all know, if you have a solid foundation to your language, then you can start being more prosaic. You can add embellishments. You can make it look pretty. I suppose what you could say is you can think. The idea is when we first start doing beginner's bridge is that we follow rules and we don't think too far out of the box. Because as soon as you go outside of the box, if you haven't got firm foundations, everything collapses. Okay, so funnily enough, next week when I do the beginners next week in the next lesson, I'll talk about responding to overcalls, and we'll see that there are slight differences to what I'm going to teach you and to what I might have on my full website, where I'm teaching people, more expert players, where they know a little bit more, and so some of the reasons we bid are different. But the main thing is to get a foundation of what you expect for various bids, and that's what we're doing. So the overcalls, this new element of the language of bidding, is going to be fantastic. It makes for much more fun when you first start doing beginner stuff and a mini bridge, etc. Of course, as soon as the person who has the most point, or the person who starts the bidding starts, you think, oh, there's no point me being here because I can't come in. Once you know that you can compete for a hand, oh, it gets great fun. And believe you me, you can get some auctions. I think we've all seen an auction with money when they're bidding for some painting or something like that. It can get very exciting. You'll have fun, you know, lots of bids coming in, and it goes up and up and up. Well, that's exactly what you can have in bridge. Okay, so look forward to that. Hope you've enjoyed it today, and hopefully see you again soon. Thanks so much.